Welcome to Nexus. I'm Wanda Allen Abraha, the Director of the Human Relations Department. We are excited to have the opportunity to bring you today's program. The Human Relations Department enforces and encourages fair treatment and equal rights for the citizens of the City of Winston-Salem. The Human Relations Department has three key areas of responsibility. They are investigating housing discrimination based on race, color, national origin, religion, disability, family status, and gender, mediating landlord-tenant complaints, and conducting cultural diversity education and inclusion training and outreach. This television program is a part of our education and outreach efforts. All Nexus television programs feature community partners. September is Cultural Awareness Month. As a part of Cultural Awareness Month, Human Relations again is sponsoring International Village at Rock the Block on September the 21st. During this episode, we will focus on another Cultural Awareness Month event, Fiesta, and on our partnership with the Community Conflict Resolution Project of the Wake Forest University School of Law. We will be speaking with Mary Jo Turner, Executive Director of the Hispanic League, and Marielle Mota, Project Coordinator with the Community Conflict Resolution Project. Now, let's join Adolfo Briceño of our staff who will interview today's guests.
Thank you very much, Wanda. And today we have Mary Jo Turner. She's the Executive Director of the Hispanic League, and they're preparing already for Fiesta. Exactly. Before we jump into that subject, Mary Jo, tell me a little bit, what is the Hispanic League?
Well, the Hispanic League has been around for 21 years. We were established in 1992 and has been a driving influence to make sure that we reach out to the community and provide opportunities for Hispanics and Americans and everyone all together. We want to do inclusion through education, health, and information to provide a multicultural experience for our community.
That's wonderful. Now, the issue that we have at hand is Fiesta, this yearly festival that the Hispanic League does. So tell me a little bit what's going to happen in Fiesta this year.
Well, this year Fiesta is going to be amazing. As I mentioned, it's our 21st year, and it is going to be in downtown Winston-Salem. If you've been coming for many years, you'll notice there's a slightly different footprint this year. GMAC parking area, where we've had the main stage for many years, has been purchased by another company, and they have made the decision that they're going to let people continue using that space for parking, but not for programming. So we redesigned the footprint to make it even bigger and better this year. So this year, the main stage is behind the Lowy building, and the parking area behind there, which will be wonderful. The children's area has moved completely. It is over in the Winston Square Park. That's the park that's next to the Sawtooth building. It has that really cool waterfall behind it. That's going to be fabulous. And then the cultural stage has moved up to Poplar and 4th Street, kind of near that intersection. And it will be as fabulous as always. Last year it was down by Foothills Brewery, so if you are familiar with that, just go up the street just a little bit further. And really all you need to do is follow your nose, because the food vendors are going to be right there in that same area on the corner of 4th and Poplar. And what can I say? Lots of amazing food. If you've been there in the past, you already know that you are in for a treat.
I have been in the past to some Fiesta festivals, and the food is really amazing. It's not only food from our countries, from Latin American countries, but we can find some other food, don't we?
Absolutely. This year, I believe we have 6 or 7 different countries represented. So we'll have Cuban, of course, Mexican, Venezuelan, Peruvian. I can't remember them all, but I know one thing for sure: we're going to have more pupusas. Last year there were long lines for pupusas. This year we actually will have 3 vendors who are doing pupusas, because they are so fabulous.
Yeah, it's such a wonderful treat to have, and you can have it just right there. You don't need like a seat, or you can just walking around and enjoying the shows with your meal right there.
And we are expanding and going to have some extra tables and chairs this year, so people have places to sit and eat their food. Some are going to be closer to the cultural stage, so you can sit and enjoy that. And others will be closer to the main stage. And of course, a few over by the children's area too.
Wonderful, wonderful. So we're talking about now. When exactly is going to be the festival, fiesta, and what time? From what time to what time?
The fiesta starts on September the 14th. This year, we're very proud and pleased that Wells Fargo is our naming sponsor, and so they're going to be kind of overseeing the whole event and providing the sponsorship for that. The one thing that starts that's special is Novant is doing a pre-party Zumbathon, and that starts at 11 o'clock. If you go to the main stage area, we have a special dance floor. It's going to be right there for the Zumba instructors and everybody to kind of gather around and do your Zumba. Now that will get your blood pumping at 11 in the morning, I guarantee it, because I actually get tired watching them do all the Zumba stuff. And then throughout the day, there'll be numerous different types of entertainment at all three stages. One of the highlights is our Parade of Flags, and that will begin at the children's area at 1 o'clock. We'll end up over in the main stage area at 1:30. Immediately following the Parade of Flags, we'll have Mayor Joynes speaking and welcoming everyone. And we have the brand new Mexican consulate who's just started his job maybe a couple months ago. He's going to be there addressing everyone. And a really big feature this year is the Elite 96 soccer team. This is a group of fabulous young men from Winston-Salem who went to the National Soccer Championships, and they came in #2 in the whole United States. They were beat by California, but they represent North Carolina, and they did wonderful. In addition to that, we will have photographs of the team, and they will be available to do autographs for them over in the children's area, probably starting around 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
Wonderful! Wow. So it's really growing, and there are different things from last time, Mary Jo. Sorry. So it's going to be this. Did you say the 14th?
Right. It's Saturday the 14th.
The 14th of September, and from 11, what starts with the Zumbathon, all the way to.
It ends at 7. The last event that really kind of makes it fun is our dance contest. Laringus Chiropractic is providing and sponsoring the dance contest this year. Again, that's going to be in that main stage area. And we have some wonderful prizes for that. I believe Sprint is donating some fabulous cell phones to give to winners. And so there'll be a lot of different things out there. It'll be fun.
Wonderful. How many people are you expecting in the festival?
Last year we estimated between 20 and 25,000 people. So I'm guessing we'll probably have close to about 20,000 again this year.
Awesome.
And it is a rain and shine event, so if it's a little dreary, please come on down, because liquid sunshine makes it just as much fun as real sunshine.
There you go. Now, in other years, I remember there was one time where you had to pay to go inside the festival. Is this last year? It wasn't like that. You could enter.
We
for
are
free.
not paying. No one has to pay, and we found that's really been an enhancement to our festival. We had heard some complaints from some of the people living downtown. They said, I don't want to pay $2 to come to an event and have to get there and all that. So we have done away with paying. It's free and open to everyone. Everything is free unless you buy food or drinks. And I will mention that this year we have not 1 but 2 beer and margarita cantinas. So if you have a little bit of a thirst for that, you can certainly pick up something there. But if you are looking for non-alcoholic beverages, Pepsi is our naming sponsor for our beverage areas, and they'll have Pepsi, I don't know if they're trucks or locations in 2 different places for you to get soft drinks too.
Wonderful. Now, this fiesta, what is the purpose? Is trying to get funding for the other programs of the Hispanic League, probably namely the scholarships. Is this correct?
Exactly. Hispanic League has a main focus on education. We give scholarships this year in 2013. We gave 34 scholarships to students to go to college, which is amazing. And we look for funding throughout the year to help provide those scholarships. And last year, for example, we were able to raise almost $20,000 to help give back and make scholarships available this year. So the money we raise through the sponsorships, the people donating, et cetera, all goes back into our programs. The other program that we do that's very popular is our Middle School Achievers program for the ESL classes. We are in 7 different middle schools and probably touch about 800 students each year with that program. And it's provided, again, by volunteers. That's a key part to all of our programs. Volunteers that go into the schools 3 times a year, and they're college students, small business leaders. If you're interested in helping with that program, we're always looking for additional support there, and tell their personal stories about how they have overcome any obstacles, learned how to speak English, and applied that to their lives. We are also looking for volunteers for Fiesta. It takes about 300 volunteers to make Fiesta a reality. And people can go to our brand new website, which just launched last week, which looks amazing. It is HispanicLeague.org. So it's just HispanicLeague.org. If you go under events and click on Fiesta, you'll see all the information about Fiesta. And if you go under the Give Back to the Community, you will see there's a place there for volunteers, and you can sign up to volunteer. And you get to sign up for different time periods, or mark what type of area you would like to help in. Maybe you want to help in the kids area, or maybe you want to be an ambassador or help out the Hispanic League booth. There's lots of ways to give back.
Wonderful. So there's still some spots or some slots for volunteers, correct?
Absolutely. There's still availability for volunteers. I think we probably have maybe 100 or 150, so we're still looking for additional volunteers. We have a couple more weeks to recruit them.
Wonderful. Mary Jo, thank you very much for coming. Let's wrap this conversation. Tell me a little bit, what type of participation is the Human Relations Department going to have in this event?
Well, the City of Winston-Salem is a huge supporter for us. And this year they have a double booth that's set up. Your department will be there, and there'll be several other departments from the City of Winston-Salem represented, sharing information about everything our city can do and reach out to us. I mean, from the 211 CityLink line to information about, recycling and everything else.
It's 311.
Oh, it's I'm sorry.
311.
311. I apologize. 311. I doubt the wrong number. And get more information about city services.
Wonderful. Well, thank you very much, Mary Jo, for being with us. And remember, Fiesta is going to be held the 14th of September in downtown Winston, starting from 11 a.m. It's a free event. Thanks again, Mary Jo, for coming. Mary Jo is the Executive Director of the Hispanic League, and we will be back.
This is Kevin. Kevin likes smart things, so we got a smartphone. But you know what's really smart? NCDOT Mobile from the North Carolina Department of Transportation. Now Kevin can avoid traffic and construction before leaving his house, and that makes this guy a smart guy. Good job, Kevin. Know before you go.
Well, thanks again for being with us. Thank you for staying in this session in Nexus. We have here now Mariel Mota. She's project coordinator for the Community Conflict Resolution Project at Wake Forest Law. Thank you very much for being with us, Mariel.
My pleasure.
Now, tell us a little bit about what is this project?
The Conflict Resolution Program is a mediation program where the city almost 2 years ago reached out to Wake Forest Law and thought that it would be a great idea to develop the skills of law students in a way that was useful to the city. So because there's sometimes conflicts between students who rent homes in the neighborhoods around the college and homeowners who just live there full time. They have property issues sometimes where beer cans will be left out or noise complaints, that sort of stuff. So in an effort to kind of alleviate the strain on the civil court system and to avoid people having to call the police and file reports, the city came to the law school and asked if we would be interested in creating some kind of mediation program where the homeowners and the students could meet and resolve their problems without having to go to court or without having to call the police.
I see. How many of those incidents do they happen in a year, let's say?
Well, I couldn't tell you a yearly number, but it's unfortunately quite a few. Full-time residents, older families, or well-established families who have been here for a long time. They occasionally have problems with students that only rent for a short period of time. So, and because it's, you know, an older family and younger students, there's conflicts on schedules and just living behaviors that can conflict with each other. So it's not a tremendous issue, but it's definitely something that arises enough that the city felt the need to ask the law school for help.
Wonderful. How many, have you had your first case yet, mediated case yet?
No, we actually haven't started. This is a really new project.
Okay.
And it's just finally gotten to the point after a lot of negotiation between the city and the school that we've come to a contract between the city and the school about what the students will be doing, how often it'll be done, and we're just kind of waiting for our first cases to come in.
Wonderful, wonderful. Do they know what the students at Wake and the neighbors at Wake, do they know that they have this option yet?
I believe the city is taking steps to inform them that this is an option. The great thing about it really is that the mediation takes place in kind of an informal setting, so it's not court, it's not at a police station. And the idea is that the students get trained by certified mediators who are extremely efficient and professional lawyers who have been doing this for a very long time. So we receive formal 6-hour training on how to mediate, and then a student sits in and just allows a conversation to happen between the resident and the student or the other tenant of the neighboring property. So it's never that the student mediator will make a decision for the two and tell them what's going to happen. It's more just that they facilitate a conversation so that they can decide what happens.
Amongst themselves?
Amongst themselves.
Wonderful. And how many students are going to participate in this project?
Well, we had a great interest in the law school. When we started announcing that we were going to be providing mediation training and this project, about 120 people ended up replying that they had interest, which was a huge amount, probably the most interest that anybody's shown a pro bono project in a very long time at Wake. So we had to kind of scale it back because we didn't want to put too much strain on our mediators, the people who would be training the students. So total, we got probably close to 60 students trained, and many of them have graduated. So right now we have over 25 students who are trained and ready to work.
Wonderful, 25 students. They are all law students, or there are other?
No, they are all law students.
Majors, okay. Wonderful.
Mediation actually takes quite a bit of training to be able to do it well, and at the end of the conversation, what we hope will happen is that the tenants, the two people, come to an agreement of sorts, and it's contractually binding. So if they come to the agreement, both parties sign it, and the terms of that agreement are violated, it can be taken to civil court on a breach of contract claim. So it is a legal document that results, but the student is just allowing the conversation to happen.
I see, I see. So the students are not going to be the judge,
No, not
correct,
at all.
of the situation, and they're not going to say, you are going to do this. Or
No,
correct?
that's what
Or-
arbitration is. So
Okay.
this is mediation, just
I see,
it's kind of like counseling.
I see. And they're all, I mean, the mediators, the student mediators are all going to be third-year students, or they are?
Some of them are actually now rising 2Ls, which are second-year students. Some of them are 3Ls, which is the year that I'm in. We had some last year that have graduated.
Oh, okay. Wonderful. So let me see. Now, what kind of role had the Human Relations Department in this program, if you can?
Yeah, the Human Relations Department actually was the department of the city that reached out to the school. I think that they saw a good opportunity to kind of take some stress off of the police and take some stress off of the small claims civil courts. And these are mostly minor problems that can be pretty easily fixed with a little bit of communication and a little bit of patience on both sides. So I think the city saw a good opportunity to help people in a less formal way, in a very cost-effective way, and in a way that will allow people with serious problems to have better access to the legal system. So the Human Relations Department was the one who, I guess, kind of came up with the seed of this idea and brought it to the law school.
Wonderful, that's awesome. Now, so you haven't had your first case yet, but my question now, it will be, is this only going to be between landlords around in the live around campus and students? My question is, if two students have an issue, or two landlords that live in the vicinity have an issue, would you be able to provide any help, any mediation?
I would imagine that after a period of time, if this program continued to grow and was successful with dealing with student renters and regular citizens of Winston-Salem, that the project would be open to more than just them. I'm sure that we all have big aspirations. We think there's a lot of promise in this program. So eventually, over time, if it's successful, we would love to be able to help more people.
Wonderful. And what has been the participation of the school itself? What have they provided other than support, verbal support? Have they provided something else? Or?
Yes, absolutely. The school is very committed to pro bono and public interest work. Dean Morant has been extremely supportive of the pro bono project. Professor Hopkins is the leader of the pro bono project, and she has taken it upon herself to kind of organize all of these things for us. So she's also a trained mediator and can provide the training that we need. We also have another professor, Ralph Peoples, who is the lead mediation trainer. So we have faculty, we have the facility that we can use. They've supported the training, they've provided money so we can have dinner while we're doing our trainings, and they've been extremely supportive of this project. Wonderful,
wonderful. For those who do not understand the expression pro bono, can you enlighten us?
Certainly. Pro bono is free work that lawyers do that's basically public interest. So it's mostly geared towards indigent people or people who can't afford full legal services. And it's basically goodwill work that lawyers do. It's volunteer work on the part of lawyers.
So if anybody is interested in this option of mediation, they won't have to pay, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
I see. And for the time being, it's only students, potential problems between students and landlords, correct?
Yes.
If somebody is seeing this show and has an issue with his landlord, will you be able to help, or?
Not currently at this time, because the program is still just kind of getting up off the ground. But what we would say is to hopefully wait, a year maybe. If they can't wait, then they should seek, help or something to solve their problem somewhere else. But we would like to be able to take on more cases as time continues.
Well, the Human Relations Department also offers these services, mediation between landlords and tenants in the city of Winston-Salem. Is there something you would like to add, Marielle, about this issue?
I think you covered everything.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Now, for those who are living on campus or close to campus, where do they have to go if they want to use the services of these?
The first step would be to call the law school or to call the Human Relations Department here at City Hall.
Okay, wonderful, wonderful. Is there a number of the law school that you would like to?
Not off the top of my head.
Okay, well, in the Human Relations Department, you can dial 734-1225, and we will help you.
And you can go to actually the Wake Forest Law website and find a number where you could contact someone.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, thank you very much, Marielle. We had Marielle Cota. She is the project coordinator for the Community Conflict Resolution Project at Wake Forest Law. Thanks again, Marielle.
Thanks for having me.
And we'll be joining now Jamie in our next Nexus segment.
Thanks, Adolfo. I'm Jamie Waldeck, and this is the Nexus Challenge, where we test your knowledge about fair housing laws. Here's our first question. An apartment community was built in the 1980s. The rental office is on the first floor, but there's a step at the building entrance. Although it's not covered under the FHA's design and construction standards, does it still have to be handicapped accessible? Yes or no? The answer is yes. Although the FHA's design and construction provisions apply only to apartments multifamily built after March 1991, your community could still face a disability discrimination complaint. Because it's open to the public, the leasing office is considered a place of public accommodation, so it may be subject to the accessibility requirements of the ADA. Here's our next question. A young couple is interested in renting a one-bedroom apartment. They recently moved here from Russia, and you have a vacancy next door to a Russian-speaking family. Although other apartments are available, you believe they'd be more comfortable living near others who share the same cultural background. Which action would not show housing discrimination? A, you only show them the available unit beside the Russian-speaking family. B, you show them all available units. Or C, you show them the best unit available, but mention that there's also a unit available next to another Russian-speaking family. The answer is B, show them all available units. Even though you may have good intentions in showing only the apartment next to the Russian-speaking family, it could be considered unlawful steering based on national origin. Fair housing law doesn't permit landlords to limit prospective tenants' housing choices by encouraging or discouraging them from living in your community or in certain parts of the community. And here's our last question.
A female applicant discloses that she was evicted from a previous residence because of domestic disturbances and property damage caused by her ex-boyfriend. She says that she's no longer involved with him, but you're concerned that they may reconcile and cause similar problems at your community. How can you respond to her application? Can you A, reject her application, B, tell her she is on a wait list and that you will get in touch with her, or C, accept the application? The answer is C, accept the application. Federal fair housing law allows victims of domestic violence to pursue a fair housing claim based on sex if they face housing discrimination because of their history or the acts of their abusers. This is because, statistically, women are overwhelmingly the victims of domestic violence, and thus discrimination against domestic violence survivors is almost always discrimination against women. I'm Jamie Waldeck, and that's this month's Nexus Challenge. Now let's go back to Wanda.
Thank you, Jamie. Before we go, here's a look at some upcoming events. We hope you enjoyed the program. I'd like to remind everyone to come to International Village and Rock the Block on September 21st. Thank you for watching Nexus. I'm Wanda Allen Abraha. See you next time.